All right, so yesterday we talked about multiplication and division. Today we're going to add that third rule in, power to power. And your quiz Friday is going to be on all, quiz tomorrow will be on all three rules, okay? So today and then what we did last week. Let's say you see a problem that is written like this, okay? What do you notice about that? It has two exponents, one on the inside of a parentheses and one on the out, and it has parentheses. First of all, that is the visual of this rule. That is how you tell that this is the rule you're applying, because it has parentheses and it has an exponent on the inside and the outside. Now, do you agree with me that this is the same thing as this? 7 times 7. Because it's 7 squared, right? So if I wanted to expand this, how many times would I multiply 7 times 7? 6 times, right? Because that's what the exponent tells me. So what you're saying is that if I wrote this in expanded notation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more, that I should get the correct answer to this. But that is a lot of 7s. Is there a way, we learned on day 1, to write all of these 7s shorter? What would it be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 7 to the 12th power. Do you know how I got that now? What did I do? I multiplied the two exponents. So the rule for power to power is that when you recognize that it's power to power with the exponents on the inside and outside, then you multiply the exponents together. That's the key. So if you look at the algebra rule, it says x to the m to the n power. It's power to power, so I'm going to multiply m times n. All right, so let's look at some examples. Exercise 1. 15 to the 3rd to the 9th power. So I write my base, 9 times 3, 27. That's power to power. It is almost like distributive property. You have to give whatever is on the outside to everything on the inside through multiplication. So for this next example, it has nested parentheses. That's not a big deal. They just want to make sure that that -2 stays in parentheses. To the 5th power times 8, which would be 40. Exercise 3. It's a decimal, so I'm going to leave it in parentheses. 17 to the 4th power, 68. And if it's a letter, no big deal. 17 times 4 is 68. So look at exercise 5. It's an MP3 because it's asking us to look at Sarah's work. Sarah wrote 3 to the 5th to the 7th power is 3 to the 12th. What is her mistake? She added instead of multiplying. See, here's the thing. They're not going to tell you that it's power to power. You have to recognize the parentheses and the two exponents next to each other and go, oh, that's power to power. I multiply the exponents. So what would be the correct answer for her? 3 to the 35th power. Watch how you say it. All right, so how are we going to also see these problems written? And if you go to the rule box, it shows us a couple of more scenarios. For instance, if you have more than one term in the box, like this example, it has to be shared with everything within the parentheses. So this would become x to the n, y to the n. If it is a fraction, such as, say, x to the 2, y to the 4, and you want to do that to the 6th power, everything has to get the 6. So the 6 has to be given to this one and this one. So it's going to become x to the 12th over y to the 24th. And what operation we're doing? Multiplication. Okay, so those were our models. Let's do some examples. Exercise 7 is going to become 11 to the 9th times 4 to the 9th. Exercise 8 is going to become 3 to the 10th times 7 to the 20th. Why is AJ the only one answering? You need to remember multiplication. By verbally doing it, it connects with your brain. So exercise 9, everything needs to get the 5. So the 3 becomes 10, a to the 20th. Speak louder so we can hear it. Exercise 10, 5 to the 7th, x to the 7th. Every single thing has to get the exponent on the outside. For exercise 11, it becomes 5 to the 7th, x to the 7th, y to the 14th. And then exercise 12 becomes a to the 8th, b to the 4th, c to the 12th. And then 13 gives us a lovely little fraction that looks like this. And all that tells us is that we have to share that n with everything in the parentheses. So x will get the n and y will get the n. That is the power to power rule.